So have you been put in a situation where everyone's doing the same things and you need to stand out and to make profit? Or are you planning on trying to sell at the marketplace? You're thinking about how it's going to be to make profit because everyone's doing the same things? Or are you planning on setting a financial servicing business but you have no idea on how to start, to stand out and to make profit? Hello, I'm Taliesin Mokota, a pioneer seeking knowledge in marketing for goods and financial services. And here we're going to break down some of the major points that you can use to advance our skills, to stand out, to make profit or money. So in order to do that, first we need to understand what marketing actually is. And not most people, when they think about marketing or market, they think about the place where they sell goods such as tomatoes, onion, apples, oranges. They never actually thought of how to actually define marketing. Or they think about this terrible event that occurred in Chingola. Anyway, so marketing according to Kotler is identifying and limiting of human social needs. So known as the father of marketing, guys. I don't know what marketing was called before him. Yeah. So if you happen to search before me, can you text it and in the comment below. So the idea of this video is to understand what marketing actually is, and what the father discovered. So that if there's room for development in our marketing skills, we can add for those ones who start, we can start in a good note, especially for financial services because this one is the most complicated one. Alright, let's begin. Let's start with some of the marketing concepts found in marketing for goods and financial services. We'll begin with the production concept. The production concept deals with the selling of goods and services at a high affordable price. This may involve basic goods or goods that people need on a daily basis. Our second concept we'll deal with is the product concept. This one usually deals with the product itself. If you are producing a product and you want to advance the product, make it more luxurious, uh, or improve the product in which it will further satisfy your customers. Yeah, is the second concept. The third concept we'll deal with is the selling concept. Selling concept does with or deals with the aggressively selling, advertising of the product you're selling. And then the fourth concept we're going to deal with is the marketing concept, which was earlier described as the identifying and meeting of human social needs by Kotler. And the fifth concept we're going to deal with is societal concept, which deals with the selling of goods and services which look at the long-term welfare of society. It involves critical and responsibility of thinking. Now let's begin with financial services. What are financial services? Financial services refer to economic activities and processes provided by institutions that help individuals and businesses and governments to manage, protect, and move income or money. So now let's talk further about financial services. What are some of the distinctive characteristics of financial services? So let's begin with intangibility. So financial services, they have no physical form. For example, an Airtel money account or a savings account, you can't touch it, but it's available, it's there. So they have no physical form. The second characteristic we're going to talk about financial services is interoperability or interoperable, which means the moment it's produced, it's consumed. So unlike goods where you can go at the market and then you find everyone selling tomatoes or onion. With financial services, you're supposed to demand for them first. That's when they can create a service. So the moment it's produced, is consumed. The third characteristic we're going to talk about is perishability, meaning financial services are perishable. The fact that the moment they're produced, they're consumed, they don't last long. And the fourth characteristic we're going to talk about is heterogeneity, which means financial services cannot be standardized for the fact that each and every person is different and they demand a different service. It's not like you can go to the market and then you find tomatoes for goods, everyone's selling tomatoes. But financial services, for the fact that again, I might want to add some money account, you might want an empty money account. It's not standardized. And the fifth characteristic we want to talk about is ownership. Financial services, you can't own them as a customer. You can use certain privileges. And we're going to talk about the concept of financial fiduciary, which says as a financial service, we need to do what's best for the customers. Yeah, it's not just law, but it also helps the business. If your customer base feels that are more satisfied, they always come back. Yeah. And we're going to talk about the service marketing triangle. So it's a triangle that explains the relationship between the company, the employers, and the employees in terms of servicing financial services. Yeah. But if you're working alone, you can just cut into employees and the customers. How you interact with your customers and how you interact with the external marketing environment, other businesses that are involved in the same businesses that you're carrying out as well. Let's talk about marketing environment. So marketing environment involves the political environment, the economic environment, the societal environment, the political environment, the environment, and the legal environment. So the political environment involves the political state of the country. Is it peaceful? Can business thrive under this uh, government or country? Yeah. Then the economical environment deals with the general buying and selling of goods, maybe even debt, GDP. Is this country, is it going to be profitable to invest in this country? Societal environment deals with individuals in the country. What are the social culture? Are they friendly? Are they business driven? And the fourth one I'm going to talk about is technical environment, which talks about the technologies that people use in the country or in the area, and they were oriented in terms of technologies. And then the fifth one I'm going to talk about is environmental environment, which talks about the general environment of the place you're trying to do business in. Is that place profitable, or is it a good location? Can a business thrive in that environment? And the third one, and the sixth one we're going to talk about is the legal environment. This talks about laws and regulations that business owners or people inside business have to carry out in order for them to run a business in that country or in that area. Yeah. Now let's talk about Michael Porter's 5 forces model. He's another scholar who discovered and summarized that there are 5 items that are needed in order to determine the attractiveness of a market in terms of profitability. Let's start with the bargaining power of suppliers. This talks about the ordering prices of goods and services. That is, if the prices are high, will that reduce the profit of the business or not? Another will be the bargaining power of consumers, which talks about the prices of goods and services you're selling. Are they highly affordable to your customer base? Of course, individual bargaining power of consumers is relatively weak, but if they're in groups, that's when it becomes more troublesome. Another will be the threat of new entrants. Of course, profitable markets will always have new entrants, even though there can be certain barriers of entry. So if you are a new member, are there ways to maneuver the barriers? And if you're an old member or old guy in the business, are there ways you can copy or improve your products or services in order to better satisfy your customer base? And then another one we're going to talk about will be the threat of subsidies. This talks about other businesses in the market that are like yours, or businesses that offer similar products and services like yours. How many are there in that market segment? And how can you make your own goods or services different from the rest? Lastly, we're going to talk about the rivalry between firms. This talks about if there are if there's a strong competition in that market is not attractive, and there's probably less profit in that market unless you've found a way in which you can stand out, you know, not to make profit. Now, what I think any business executive marketing plan, a business plan. We know there's no specific way of identifying a business plan, a marketing plan. A good business marketing plan is one that includes a company mission and objectives, market objective, market strategy, marketing mix, market expenditure, and implementation. Company mission and objective is one that involves a mission statement. Visually, it requires that the organization defines the area of business in which it operates and defines it in a way that will give focus and direction of the company or the individual in terms of business. It also involves a situation analysis, that is gauging the company's individual strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Marketing objectives deals with the nature of the marketing environment. Once it has been fully analyzed and a suitable SWOT analysis has been conducted, there are intermediate outcomes which will lead to the organization achieving its corporate objectives. They should be clear, measurable, realistic, and time limited. For example, to achieve a 10% increase in volume sales and new personal patients during the budget year is an example of a sound objective. Marketing strategy. This one involves or focuses on the choices of markets and how the organization plans to compete and create value in those markets. It involves segmentation, targeting, positioning processes. Segmentation involves identifying different groups, segments of consumers that exist in the market and understanding their wants and needs. Targeting involves evaluating the attractiveness of different segments, choosing which ones to go after with the organization's products and services. Positioning involves identifying the organization's competitive advantage, the way in which it can create value for customers, and how this offer should be presented to customers. Marketing mix. This involves details of the product itself and how a product will be promoted, priced, and distributed. This must be guided by the choice of market position. For example, if an organization has chosen to position itself as serving wealthy consumers with a high value personalized product, then the market specific strategy will be high price Decide on which product features to customize and choose ways of promoting and distributing this product that will appeal to the chosen consumer groups. For example, a job posting speed after having a taste of a meal, and Zambia Daily Mail also further posting it in order to update what's going on in the country concerning the streamer. Or Vatra also posting here when drinking a bottle of water. Now let's move to market expenditure. Market expenditure is simply one that involves the buying of necessary tools or goods that will help an organization or individual to compete in the market of selection. Implementation. It is concerned with how a marketing plan is put into practice. It must consider budgets, accountability, and evaluation. Now let's talk about how we can grow a business once we've started. We're going to use the growth strategies by Ansoff product market matrix. We're going to start with uh, market penetration. So market penetration is a strategy that involves focusing on existing products and markets. The goal is to influence market share by selling more of the current products or services to existing customers, or by attracting new customers within the same market segment. Tactics for the market penetration can include price adjustments, market campaign, or improving customer loyalty programs. The second strategy we're going to look at will be the market development strategy. This one involves expanding into new markets or market segments with existing products or services. For example, entering new geographic region or finding new distribution channels. Market research is crucial to identify opportunities and adapt offerings to new markets. The third growth strategy we're going to look at will be product development. The strategy centers on creating and introducing new products and services to existing markets. It involves leveraging existing customer relationships and distribution channels to introduce innovation or product variations. This approach requires research and development effects to create products that meet the needs of the existing customer base. And last, we're going to look at diversification, which is the use case of the four strategies. It involves both developing of a new product and entering new markets simultaneously. Might also be the most costly because you're entering markets simultaneously and developing new products at the same time. I think this one is good if you've got like already had a good market penetration and development, and you've got enough capital to try and expand at the same time producing new products. Because if you're just starting off, I feel like this one is a bit hard and it's most risky because it's costly as well, because it involves doing two things at once. Now let's talk about trying the marketing business stuff in Zambia. And the price of entry. Here's a rough idea of what you would pay in your first year to be properly registered and permitted to start a retail business at the marketplace. First, you have to go for pack or business registration, which is like 250 to 1000. And then trading or business license at the market store, that is like 167 to 333. Health sanitation and food, 300 to 1500. Total approximate 500 to 3000. That's it for a shop. Yeah, depending on what type of shop you're selling. Then for local council business or trading license. To sell in a marketplace, you typically need a trading license or a business levy certificate from your local council. So here's like the table of the prices that you'll find. So for business type, hawkers, peddlers, marketing store license is equals to 167. This is like a retail small scale consumables 167. Retail small scale non-consumables 167. Retail large scale 333 to 666. Yeah. Now let's talk about financial services. So for financial servicing business like money lending, for microfinance institutions, especially big ones, you have to obtain a license by Bank of Zambia, which includes a non-refundable application fee of 1,000 to 500, 400. These are like those larger microfinance institutions. And then for those small ones, you have to just obtain a money lender's license from the Magistrates Court and Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, under the Money Lenders Act. There is no explicit minimum capital required to set in the Act itself, meaning you don't need millions to start. Barriers of entry are therefore relatively low. You mainly need to pay licensing fees and comply with basic regulations like publishing a notice or providing ID docs or police notice. Here are some of the references I've been using to come up with this. If you have reached this far, I think I have some special information to give you. Did you know that you have to start making their own debit cards for easy international transactions? Let me show you how I got mine. First things first, I went to their official website where I was told to log onto their official link. For those that are finding it hard to find the link, I will leave my link under this picture below. Once you log in, it will show you something like this. That's why you're supposed to fill in your details. That's your name, your TPIN number, your NRC. And those that don't know where you can find your TPIN number, simply by just going to the ZRA offices, and that's what they're going to give you TPIN number. Or for easy access, just go to the ZRA official website, and there you're going to obtain your TPIN number. And just like that, you submit, and then Airtel will send you a confirmation message through direct messaging. For any more details, you can find me on the Listen Portal on Facebook, Instagram, and on X. And with that, I conclude my video. Thank you for the watch. I see you next time.